Hello, MIT 227 students. This is your instructor. It's about midway into the semester, and I thought I really need to make a video to check in with you guys as we've been mostly working on the simulations, but I like to have that personal touch added in. So, wanted to take a moment to go over the training project assignment. So first things first, let me look at the assignment calendar. Let's see where we're at. We are moving right along this semester, so we just got through chapter 6. And yes, so we're now on the point where I want you to be reviewing the training project assignment requirements, and that's what I'm going to focus on. So I'm going to head into this folder here, and I do have an example here from a former student you can check out. And I'm just going to go over a little bit about the requirements. So this is something that when you do this assignment, I would recommend that you hang on to your materials. This would be good to show in a future job interview. If you're ever asked about what's your experience working with electronic health records, don't short yourself. Your simulations that you do in the program give you that experience. So while you may not be actually in the medical office itself typing in the software, doing the simulation does pretty much give you that same exact experience. So like I said, don't short yourself. Be sure to talk up this experience and let your future employers know, hey, I've know enough about electronic records to have made a training project assignment over it. And I think that would be quite impressive. So this project, you're focusing on chapters 1 through 10 is anything's up for grabs. I want you to think about your time limit. You have a 1.5-hour training workshop. So you need several activities to fill that time. Often for employers, when they schedule a training, they want the entire time filled because they're on the clock. So that's an important consideration. You're not going to be doing a training over every single chapter. Let's talk about that first. I'd like to see you at least cover 3. And anything between chapters 1 and 10 is up for grabs. That's fine. I do want you to focus on at least 3 chapters. So you don't have to do a little bit over every chapter in the book. So hopefully that part hasn't been as overwhelming, or I just want to clarify that. The pieces that you are going to create for your training, you're going to have an agenda for me. And I like to see a time breakdown. And this is what I mentioned earlier. We have to utilize our entire time. We have an hour and a half. So I want to specifically know, you could include an icebreaker if you want to. That's always a good idea to start a class with. You could start with a worksheet review or a pre-test versus a post-test, see how much they know coming in. But I do want to know what you're going to cover and the time frames. So in the example here, Introduction to Medisoft will be 9 a.m. to 9:15 on the agenda. Then how to make appointments will be 9:15 to 9:30. The layout can be up to you. I do want a nice agenda layout, but you can look at several examples or even a template in Microsoft Word. This assignment will be in its own Word document. You're going to save it as agenda. Your next item is going to be an outline of training topics, and I'm looking for bulleted points. That is just fine, or maybe a brief sentence or two explaining each item, but we don't need to have a whole lot of text. You should have a title that states training outline in a size 14 font, and make your bulleted list of what you're going to cover. So in this example, the training will have a topic called creating appointments, and underneath this topic is a paragraph explaining how to access the appointment book, the types of appointments that can be made, changing the appointment time slot, utilizing the calendar, printing off the daily schedule of appointments. There should be a minimum of 5 topics in the outline. So scheduling appointments, creating appointments, that's one topic, one main topic. And underneath of that, we're going to have bullet points listed of what I'm going to talk about. So you'll find when you get into this situation, when you're actually doing trainings, you need an outline because you need to know what you're going to be doing. This is going to be in its own Word document, and I have directions there. It's 1-page minimum, size 12 font, other than the title, double spacing, and it has its own Word document called Training Outline. All right, the PowerPoint, I'm looking for 15 slides. You may possibly be able to copy and paste some of the pictures from the book, or take a screenshot, or use the snipping tool if you want to use something from the book. Those are different ways that you could go about capturing that image. I do like for PowerPoints to have minimal text, because one thing to consider when you're giving a presentation, at least for me, if somebody has a PowerPoint with several paragraphs on it and I'm in the back of the room, I can't read it. So readability is really important. When there's a lot of text going on, it's not going to happen. So a PowerPoint needs to summarize what are you going to be addressing in your training, in your official presentation. And you can include graphics from the internet, text from your book, whatever feels good for you. If you want to email me your progress before the deadline, probably up to a week and a half before the deadline, I will be glad to review it and give you some feedback on things you might need to change or add. And then lastly, the hands-on activity. This is something I really want you to think about. What would you like to do if you were in a training? Do you like to do worksheets? You could do a matching exercise. You could do a labeling exercise. You can take screenshots from the book and put it in its own document, make up your own exercise. You can request end of chapter answers for one specific chapter in the book. So if at the end of the book there's usually multiple choice questions or a matching exercise, you can adapt that. You can adapt what's already in the book and turn it into an activity. I'm totally fine with that. And I will give you answers for at least one chapter. So these are 4 different documents, and you're going to submit it when you're ready right in this link. We click right on it, and there we go. That's how we submit it. And the last thing we're going to look at is this training project example. This was from Erin Cantrell, and she graduated last year, but she did excellent. I'm giving you this as an example, but I better not see any of this copied. That is not going to be good. So you're not to copy anything from these examples, because if you do so, it is really obvious, and I will count it against the grade. You can borrow ideas by making your own project, but outright copying is not acceptable for any college assignment, so keep that in mind. Let's look at her agenda, and she probably used a template for this, Medisoft Training, and had her name up there. Please bring pen and pencil. Okay, yeah, you got to tell them what you need them to bring. And her agenda, I really like how it's broken down. What is Medisoft? Making appointments, adding new patients, creating claims and statements, hands-on activity, and I really like this at the end, a summary of what have we learned. This type of interaction is really important to think about, and this very well could be a job duty that you do on the job, is training. Let's look at her outline, and did good there. She had put her text in. That's fine with me. You could do bullet points or text. So I know in her outline she is covering making appointments, adding new patients, creating claims, creating statements, and saving reports. And she's got the steps on how to do that. That's awesome. What I'm looking for in this project is something that if we gave it to somebody, could they take it and train somebody with it? This is how you want to put your project together, so that somebody else who doesn't know exactly what your thought process was, but could take these materials and execute it in a office training setting. Let's look at our PowerPoint. And nice minimal text. Text is large, bullets, easy to read. She's taken some screenshots off of the book there. She's got the shortcut button displayed. She's taken some more screenshots off her book, and has excellent steps on exactly what you need to do, creating claims and creating reports. Match each image to its corresponding name and purpose. She has a matching activity we'll look at. And what have we learned? I love that. I love that wrap up. So you can be really creative with this. And then let's look at her training activity. She had a matching exercise. So she just went through the book and took some screenshots and made this up on our own in a Word document. You can absolutely do that. So I'm just going to take a moment from here, and I'm going to get the book. I'm going to go to Course Tools, McGraw-Hill Higher Education, and then we're going to go to the Connect section. And I have to pull this up into the student view because this is what it's going to look like for you. And you are going to go through this book and pick out 3 chapters minimum of what you're going to cover. You can cover from chapters 1 through 10. I'll let you select which ones, but you're not going to have to cover the entire book. So no need to stress about that. It won't be a requirement. I am looking for 3 chapters specifically. And I am looking forward to see what you come up with. Training, workshops, this is the area that I really like. So I have fun being creative and making exercises. And like I said, this is very applicable to what you do on the work site. I'm going to go into chapter 3 here for scheduling. And right here, if I wanted to do a screenshot and grab some of these images, we use also what's called the snipping tool. I've been using it quite a bit. Let me take a gander there. Okay, there it did work for me just fine. So I can copy that into a Word document if I want, or a PowerPoint. And then right here at the ending, this is where you can find your activities. I could take these questions here, copy them, paste them into a Word document, and reformat it because we need to remove all this stuff. I want it to look nice, but you don't necessarily have to come up with something completely on your own. You can do something with using terminologies, answering the check your understanding, and like I also mentioned, I will let you have answers to at least 1 chapter if you're interested to utilize that for your training activity. All right, that's it, MIT 227. And I haven't had a whole lot of contact with you guys since the beginning of the semester, so definitely wanted to do a check-in. Everybody is doing awesome. I'm very pleased with your work efforts and being on time and being excellent. So you're very much appreciated in the program. And if you have any further questions about the project, please don't hesitate to send me an email. All right, that's it. Have a great rest of the week, and I hope you have a great spring break.